right, how's everyone doing? So we're going to get started with CSS in this lesson. In this lesson, we're going to talk about the three different ways that we can write CSS. All right, so there are three ways to write CSS. There's internal, there's inline, and there is external. So let me change that up. We'll start off with inline, and then there is internal, and then external, and we're going to look at all three of them. Okay, so what you're going to need to do is, you can see here uh, in my index.html file that you should have created from the last lesson. Notice here we have our lesson 2 folder, we have our CSS folder with the style.css style sheet inside, and we have an index.html file. In my index.html file, I simply used a header. Inside of the header, I have an H1 as an ID of my name. There's a nav with the class top nav and a UL with the class nav li, like so, just says home about contact. We have a main div, main container, and inside of that main, I have 3 sections. In those 3 sections, I have an H2 for each one, and I have a P, and you can see the classes and the IDs that they've been given. And then I have a footer, and inside the footer I have a P with the class colophon. I would recommend that you pause this video at different times so that you can get the HTML. This is just lorem text right here, okay? So I didn't type anything in particular. The main thing is we have this header, main, footer, and inside of header I have an H1 and nav with ULLI, and inside of the main I have 3 sections with H2s and P tags. So again, you can pause this video at different points and just get the content down. It's going to look like this here. All right. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to minimize this screen, and we're going to start working on some CSS. Okay, let me adjust this. So the first way to write CSS we're going to look at is inline. Okay, inline is where you can write CSS directly inside of your HTML tag. Like so, let's say for the name, my name here, let's say I want to change that color to blue. What I can do here inside of my H1 tag where I have it listed, I can come here and I can use the style attribute, and it's going to open up parentheses like so, and I'm going to put inside here curly braces, and I'm going to say color blue. And I don't even think that works. I got to get rid of those curly braces to tell you how much I use it. There we go. So style and color blue, and as you can see, it changed the color to blue. So we can do other stylings in there. I can say font family sans serif as well, and you can see that there we have changed the styling here inline. Inline is a terrible idea. Okay, I say do not use inline at all. For one, it's going to override everything else. Okay, and really you want to be considering that, hey, if I'm going to make a web page, do I want to write my styles inside of my HTML elements like so? Because this can get extensive. I could do so much more. I can do, text align center. I can do a lot of different things in here, and it can get pretty long, so you don't want to write your CSS inline. It's a terrible idea. You didn't learn it from me. Okay, so note of that, note of that, note of that. I'm going to keep that there for right now, and we're going to look at the next way to write CSS, and that is internal. Internal is when we can write CSS right here inside of our head element. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write style. So there's a style tag like so that goes inside of head. And then what we can do is we can use what we talked about in the last session where we would get at the selector and then we can access it. So I'm going to do that here. I'm going to say H1 and then my curly braces. Okay, and let's say I'm going to say color red. And I'm going to say font family, let's say monospace. And let's say text align right. Okay, so you can see here that these rules are not being applied. Again, it's cascading, so it's read from top to bottom. So I'm reading these rules here. These rules, but what happens is once I get here into my H1, those rules are going to override the rules that I have up here in my style tag. So that's another reason why we don't want to write rules inside of our HTML elements. We don't want to do inline at all. So we're going to just get rid of that. And now there it is. You can see that the rules have changed. We have our H1, color red, font family monospace, and text align right. So those rules applied. So this is internal. Now internal, again, you can see just like inline, it does work. All right. However, again, this is not the best practice. While it does work, consider, if we're talking about websites, okay, these sites have multiple pages. So I don't want to write rules internally because those rules will only apply to that particular page and not any other page on the website. So if I make changes somewhere, let's say I want to make, I want all my H1s to be consistent. I want to be able to write that rule in one place and just link that style sheet to my H1 document so that can be read all the way across. So what we're going to do is we're going to scrap this idea right here as well. Let me grab all of that. We're going to delete that and we're going to look at external. Now I want you to practice this, okay, so you can at least know how to do it. However, the best way to do it is to have your own external style sheet, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to write some external styles, okay? So inside of my style.css file, okay, what I'm going to do is same thing. Let's say H1. I'm going to say color, and I'm going to go 109EFF Dr. Blue, and I'm going to say font family. We'll go back with sans serif, and we'll say text align center. Okay, so when I do that, I can see nothing's happened yet. All right, I wrote the rules down. It refreshes it. I have it on auto save, so nothing is happening automatically. What I got to do is, again, I have to go and link that style sheet to my HTML document. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to create the link tag. So there's the link tag, and inside that link tag we see right here href, our hyperreference. That is what we're pointing to. We are going to look for our style sheet. So I'm going to say CSS / and then style.css. There it is. We linked it. Once we link it, there it is. It is working. So here, this is external styling. You would rather do everything here inside of this one style sheet as opposed to doing it inline or internally. Because what I can also do now is I can create another HTML document. Just real quick, gonna do another HTML document. Let me fix that naming up. Added a semicolon here to the name. Okay, there we go. Let me HTML5 real quick, and I could do another H1, and I'll just write just satch right there. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to link this style sheet, that same style sheet here. Okay, so now if I open up this file, all right, and let me come over here Here I have about. I'm going to change this to about.html. We already have it there. And I click on about, and there we can see their stats. So the rules apply there as well. This is how you want to do your CSS styling. Okay, using an external style sheet, and that's what we're going to do moving forward in these lessons. So again, if you need to pause the video at any point, especially to get the HTML down, do that. Work on this a little bit, okay, and in the very next lesson, we're going to start to explore the color properties. All right, so I will see you in the next lesson. Peace, power, blessings.